Trump warns of Iranian nuclear threat. U.S. President Donald Trump has begun a visit to Israel by warning of the threat posed by Iran if it acquires nuclear weapons. Iran must never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon, he told reporters in Jerusalem, speaking beside Israeli President Reuven Rivlin. He flew in from Saudi Arabia, a key U.S. ally, where he gave a speech to Arab and Muslim leaders at a summit. Mr. Trump will hold talks with both Israeli and Palestinian leaders. He has called an Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement the ultimate deal but has been vague about what form it should take, saying he prefers to leave it to both sides to decide between them in direct talks. The two-day visit to Israel forms part of Mr. Trump's first foreign trip as U.S. president. What else did Trump say about Iran? Iran must also cease its deadly funding, training and equipping of terrorists and militias, Mr. Trump said at President Rivlin's residence. In a deal with world powers in 2015, Iran accepted curbs on its nuclear program in return for tangible economic benefits, and the White House confirmed last month that the deal was still holding. However, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has underlined that his country's policy towards Iran is under full-scale review. Israel, meanwhile, considers Iran a mortal threat. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, who was re-elected for a second term last week, championed the 2015 deal, but on Monday he appeared to sweep aside international concern about Iran's missile program. The Iranian nation has decided to be powerful, he said on state TV. Our missiles are for peace and for defense. American officials should know that whenever we need to technically test a missile, we will do so and will not wait for their permission. Where else did Trump go in Jerusalem? After leaving President Rivlin's residence, he visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre where, according to Christian tradition, Jesus was buried and resurrected. After donning a Jewish skullcap as a mark of respect, he later visited the Western Wall, one of the most sacred sites in Judaism. He could be seen placing what appeared to be a written note between its stones, as is the custom. What does Trump say about Israel's settlements? The U.S. president has been widely seen as considerably more supportive of Israel than his predecessor, Barack Obama. He has taken a softer position on the contentious issue of Israeli settlements, suggesting that their expansion rather than their presence might hamper the search for peace. More than 600,000 Jews live in about 140 settlements built since Israel's 1967 occupation of the West Bank and East Jerusalem, land Palestinians claim for a future state. The settlements are considered illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this. The American president stressed the bond between his country and Israel on Monday, saying they were great allies and partners. On the peace process, he said, young Israeli and Palestinian children deserve to grow up in safety and to follow their dreams free from the violence that has destroyed so many lives. An embassy in Jerusalem? The president has also sent mixed signals on the issue of Jerusalem, pledging to move the U.S. embassy there from Tel Aviv, angering Palestinians and delighting Israelis. However, he has since stalled, with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson recently telling NBC News that Mr. Trump was weighing it up. Israel regards the whole of Jerusalem as its capital, while the Palestinians claim the East as their capital. The international community does not recognize Israeli sovereignty over Jerusalem and countries maintain their embassies in Tel Aviv. The Ultimate Deal, by Jeremy Bowen, BBC Middle East editor, Jerusalem. President Trump believes he is the world's greatest dealmaker, and making peace between Israelis and Palestinians after a century of conflict would be the world's biggest deal. During the U.S. election, candidate Trump expressed views that seem to fit neatly with those of the right-wing Israeli government of Benjamin Netanyahu, favoring expansion of Jewish settlements on occupied territory and a tough line towards Palestinian aspirations for independence. But in office, President Trump has been more nuanced, so there has been some nervous speculation on the Israeli right that he might demand concessions from their side. More than 2 decades of failed peace talks show how difficult it is to get a deal between Israel and the Palestinians. Most people, on both sides of the argument, are deeply skeptical about the chances of any progress, no matter what President Trump says or does while he is here. What's on Trump's agenda? He will hold separate meetings with Mr. Netanyahu in Jerusalem on Monday and Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas in Bethlehem the following day. Mr. Trump's trip also comes days after it was reported that the president had leaked to Russia's foreign minister classified intelligence information said to have come from an Israeli source. The incident raised questions about the confidentiality of secret intelligence passed to the U.S. by its closest Middle Eastern ally. Just before Mr. Trump arrived, Israel announced economic and development concessions for Palestinians, including easing some restrictions on movement and approving industrial construction projects. What about the rest of the trip? At a summit in Riyadh on Sunday, Mr. Trump stated again that he believed peace between Israelis and Palestinians was possible. He also called on Arab and Muslim leaders to take the lead in combating Islamist militants, urging them to drive them out of this earth. Mr. Trump's 8-day trip will also take in Brussels, the Vatican, and Sicily. The president's visit has been overshadowed by his political difficulties at home, namely the fallout over his sacking of FBI Chief James Comey.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my STC News channel. Goodbye and see you again.